Esther 3, verses 1 through 6 reads, After these things, King Ahasuerus promoted Haman the Agagite, the son of Hammedatha, and advanced him and set his throne above all the officials who were with him. And all the king's servants who were at the king's gate bowed down and paid homage to Haman. For the king had so commanded concerning him, but Mordecai did not bow down or pay homage. Then the king's servants who were at the king's gate said to Mordecai, Why do you transgress the king's command? And when they spoke to him day after day, and he would not listen to them, they told Haman in order to see whether Mordecai's words would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew. And when Haman saw that Mordecai did not bow down or pay homage to him, Haman was filled with fury. Somebody shout fury. Fury. But he disdained to lay hands on Mordecai alone. So as they had made known to him the people of Mordecai, Haman sought to destroy all the Jews, the people of Mordecai, throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus. Flip over or scroll down in your apps to chapter 5. And I'm going to read verses 9 through 14. And Haman went out that day joyful and glad. Or somebody say he was happy for a minute. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he neither rose nor trembled before him, he was filled with wrath against Mordecai. Nevertheless, Haman restrained himself and went home, and he sent and brought his friends and his wife Zeresh. And Haman recounted to them the splendor of his riches, the number of his sons, all the promotions with which the king had honored him, and how he had advanced him above the officials and the servants of the king. Then Haman said, Even Queen Esther, let no one but me come with the king to the feast she prepared. And tomorrow also I am invited by her together with the king. Yet all this is worth nothing. All his success, all his prosperity, he says, it's nothing to me, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate. Then his wife Zeresh and all of his friends said to him, Let a gallows 50 cubits high be made, and in the morning tell the king to have Mordecai hanged upon it. Then go joyfully with the king to the feast. This idea pleased Haman, and he had the gallows made. You can be seated. So we're in part 3. Thank you. Part 3 of this series that we started a couple weeks ago titled You Are the One. This is part 3. We'll continue on. Maybe the last week we'll see how it goes. But week 1, we were introduced to our first protagonist, Esther. If you didn't catch it, go back, listen to watch the last 2 weeks series sermons on YouTube. You can check it out on there and get the full message. But that week 1, we were introduced to Esther, and according to the Bible, it said that she was pretty in the face and fine in the waist. I didn't make that up, brother. The Bible actually said that, Carlos. It said that she had a beautiful figure, okay? So she was fine. She looked real good. And we find out through Esther that all of us have an assignment. Somebody shout, I got an assignment. All of us, Brother Sherry, we have a God-given assignment. We all have a purpose. We all have a destiny. That we all have something that God wants us to accomplish. And it may be more than one thing. Our assignment isn't just tied up and connected to just one specific act throughout our entire life. But in whatever season that we're in, there's a purpose for us in that particular season. We all have an assignment. And another thing that we learned about Esther is that we don't always find our assignment, but sometimes our assignment finds us. Esther's purpose, what she was born for, what she was destined for in that season of her life, she didn't choose it. She didn't read a book and figure it out. She didn't pray about it. It wasn't a prophecy over her life. She just found herself in a predicament where she had to step up and accept the assignment that was placed in her life. And because she accepted the assignment, she saved, we don't know, countless thousands of lives of Jews. She was afraid. She didn't know how it was going to turn out. The even tried to talk herself out of it when she dealt with her cousin Mordecai, but eventually at some point she realized that I'm here for a purpose. The reason why God sent me here is because he had a work for me to do. And then in week 2, we were introduced to our second protagonist, which we called the best supporting actor, Mordecai. Yeah, a lot of us, we fell in love with Mordecai because we realized that week 1, many of us probably couldn't relate to Esther. Why? Because we realized that, brother, what we accomplished, it may not ever turn into a best-selling novel. What we do in our life, it may not ever make it on BET or Lifetime story. It may not ever be talked about in an interview after we're gone. We may never have a published memoir that becomes a top bestseller in New York. None of those things may not happen to us, but guess what? We still have value in the kingdom. The accolade that we receive on this earth, the praise that we receive on this earth, it does not determine how valuable we are to God. Why? Because in every great story, there's always a best supporting actor. In every great TV show, in every great movie, in every great novel, there's always a best supporting actress. And guess what? They're just as important to the book as the main actor is. They're just as important to the movie as the main star. Guess what? You're valuable even though you may never receive the accolade that your next door neighbor may receive. You're valuable even though you may not never stand behind a podium and talk to masses of people. You're valuable even if you never get 100,000 followers on Instagram. You're valuable even if you never max out the 5,000 friends on Facebook. You still have value in the eyesight of God. Why? Because we all got an assignment, whether it's in the front or whether it's in the background. Look at somebody and say, God needs people in the background just as much as he needs people in the front. You can be working in the back, but guess what? You're still valuable to God. We're all needed, whether you're in the front or whether you're in the back. Now today, I want to talk about a person that we typically wouldn't give a whole sermon to, and that's the antagonist. That's this dude named Hemphill. Typically, we talk about the heroes in the Bible, right? We talk about the heroes here, and we talk about what we can learn from the hero, from the things they did good. We talk about things that we can learn from them about what we did bad, but we rarely talk about the antagonist. We rarely talk about the enemy from the standpoint of giving them an entire message. But today, I want to deal with Haman because I believe that a lot of us have some Hamanistic situations in our life. Okay, so we're introduced to Haman, Robin, in chapter 3, verse 1. And it tells us that he's an Agagite. And our first introduction to him, Natalie, is that he's promoted. Okay? He's promoted above all the officials. And he's so high that verse 2 lets us know that the king commands everybody, Marvin, to bow down to him. Everybody is supposed to pay homage to him. That's how high he gets. Most scholars agree that he was probably the second most powerful person or the third most powerful person after the king himself and Queen Esther. Everybody's supposed to bow to him. Everybody's supposed to worship him. But then something happens one day when he runs across this dude named Mordecai. Mordecai decides not to bow down, Kiara. Mordecai says, you know what? I ain't gonna do it. Bow down, I ain't gonna do it. Can I pause right there and just encourage somebody that God is looking for some Christians who can make a decision that I won't bow down to everything just because everybody else is bowing down. God is looking for a church this year, right now, this month, in this season, that refuses to bow down to everything just because culture says that it's acceptable. I wonder if I got some people in the building who can be a part of a church that will not do everything just because it's accepted by the masses. Well, Mordecai was a representative of that person, of the church. He says, I'm not going to bow down to this dude. He said, guess what? I'm a Jew. It said that the people asked him day after day, why? I'm telling the story. Walk with me. I promise we're going somewhere. All right. He said, I'm a Jew. I'm not going to bow down to him. What did that mean? That meant that I know that we don't bow down to men. I know that we don't serve idol gods. I serve the God who created heaven and earth. Yes. So word gets back to Haman, this dude Haman the Agagite, and he says, you know what? This dude named Mordecai, he won't bow down to you. And it said, the Bible said that he's filled with what?
Rage.
Fury, or some versions say rage, or some versions say that he was wrath. We'll just say that he was hot as fire. Okay, we'll call it that. He was hot as fire. It got so bad, his anger was so bad that he said, I want to kill Mordecai, but I also want to kill an entire race.
My Lord.
Since he said, I want every Jew to be killed because Mordecai won't bow down to me. Karen, does that seem a little extreme to you? Does that seem a little extreme? To me, that seems a little extreme, Casey. Let me talk to Casey, some Bible scholars, but that just seems a little extreme to me. I can understand, Candy, how he could be upset, right? You know, I can understand. You know, you're mad, you got your little title, you got your little position. Can I talk to some managers? Is that how you treat your people? You get mad when they won't bow down to you because you got a little title. Some people don't need titles, and some of you don't need no title because you don't know how to handle the people that you manage. You want everybody to bow down to you on your job because you done became a man. You ain't got but 3 people on your team. And you on Facebook talking about my team. I took my team out to, I had a training for my team and we enjoyed it so much. You need 4 people to have a team. You just got people, okay? Right now, we're not even going to call that a team. There's no sport you can even play with 3 people on the field, okay? You don't have a team yet. So get off your high horse because you got a little title, okay? So we can look at that one, Sharon, and just be like, you know what? He was mad because they didn't respect the title. Cool, I ain't tripping on that, you know? We can just say he was just a little egomaniac, okay? He had a little ego, he got mad, but I could see how he would want to take his wrath out on Mordecai. But the fact that he went to the extreme faith and said, I want to kill an entire race, kind of made you think, like, it gotta be something deeper than this. You already know that there's always something beneath the surface that we can't always see.
Yes.
Verse 1, chapter 3, gives us the path to finding out where his true anger came from. Verse 3, it says that Haman was what? He was a what? What was he, Robert? Y'all don't, why do y'all close y'all Bible in church? He was a what, Tasha? He was an Agagite. Okay, that's your answer right there. He was an Agagite. No, if we go back to 1 Samuel, stay here, catch this. This is the foundation of this entire message. If we go back to 1 Samuel, there's a story when King Saul was commanded by God to go and destroy the Amalekites. You're going to see it's about to make sense in a minute. He was commanded by God to take the army, go and destroy all of the Amalekites. Guess what the name of the king of the Amalekites was? Chase? King Agag. That make King Agag, Haman the what?
Agag.
The Agag. It's don't make sense. King Saul, he didn't kill King Agag. He kidnapped him, or he killed an entire nation, genocide, killed all the Amalekites. He took King Agag. He didn't disobey God. That's another sermon for another day. But Samuel came to him. God said kill him, so he ended up killing King Agag. Okay? So when we look at the history, when we look at the genealogy, we see that there was some drama between the Jews and Haman's family long before Haman was ever born. We have to believe, and most scholars believe that Haman knew what had happened in 1 Samuel. It was probably something that they talked about. Somehow, some people got away, some descendants of King Agag got away, started a whole new people, and now this is where the descendant Haman comes into play. So he knew from a child that the Jews, sent by God, had disintegrated his entire nation at one point in time.
Help us.
What was the problem here? What was the root of this entire thing? Was it that Mordecai really wouldn't bow down? Was it that he would really pay homage to him? No, that wasn't it. He was bitter. about what had happened before he was ever even born. And I truly believe, Casey, that he didn't even know how bitter he was. He probably didn't like him. He probably hated him all the way. He had some anger for them, some unforgiveness for them. But bitterness comes when opportunity presents itself. Amen. Today I want to tag this message, the bitter truth about bitterness. The bitter truth about bitterness. Haman was a bitter person, and this was the perfect opportunity for that spirit, that sickness, that disease of bitterness to rise up and release itself. I believe that there's some bitter people in the room today. There's some bitter people in the room today. More than we know. Some of us don't know that we're bitter, but we will be by the end of this message. By the end of this message, God will reveal to us that we're either in bitterness or we're on our way to bitterness. So I want to give you 6 truths this morning. If you got any writers, come right with me. Right with me. I'm going to give you six truths that we can learn from Haman's story. So walk with me. Okay, number 1 about bitterness. Bitterness is the result of lingering anger, resentment, and unforgiveness. Bitterness is the result of lingering anger, resentment, and unforgiveness. How do we get that? Because he was acting out on something that happened generations before him.
Yeah.
Let me distinguish so that we can see that bitterness is not anger. Okay? Y'all catch this? Bitterness is not anger. I gotta teach for a little bit called. Bitterness is not anger. Bitterness is not unforgiveness. Bitterness is not resentment. Bitterness is what anger leads to. Bitterness is what resentment leads to. Bitterness is what unforgiveness leads to. So while some of us in the room may not actually be in a state of bitterness right now, if we have anger that we're holding on to, we're on the path to bitterness. Wow. If we have resentment for somebody or something that we have not let go of or got healed from, then guess what? We could be on the road to bitterness. If there's any unforgiveness in your life right now, at this moment, guess what? You could be on the road toward bitterness. Bitterness is like a wound that got infected that was never properly handled. Yeah. That's what I want you to see bitterness as. See bitterness as this wound that this cut that you received, it was never properly cleansed with alcohol. Then it got infected, and then what happens when it gets infected? And it impacts your entire body. And then at that point, it impacts your entire life. I want you to see bitterness as a cancer who refused to go to radiation and have it killed. That's what bitterness is. If we don't deal with anger, if we don't deal with the unforgiveness, if we don't deal with the resentment, then guess what? It will eventually lead to bitterness. The question I got to ask you this morning, self-examination, is are you on the road to bitterness? Bitterness is not the truth. Bitterness is not the truth. Bitterness is the root. It's the root. Hebrews talks about the root of bitterness. Bitterness is the root. The tree is the activity that resulted from the bitterness, which is what Haman is doing in this story. But for the root to arrive, it had to start with a seed that was planted in the ground. All bitterness starts with a seed planted in the ground of your life. What could the seed have been? The seed could have been a divorce. It's a lot of bitter people because of the divorce. It could be because of your ex, your baby daddy, your baby mama. Come on, there's some bitterness in this house because of the ex. Because of your daddy. Because of what he did. Because of not being there. Because of what happened while he was there. Because of what your uncle did when you were little. Because of the abuse that you, because of your job. Do you know that bitterness is not always toward a person, but it can just be towards a thing? I guarantee you there's some Christians possibly in the house who are bitter with God. Now, ain't nobody want to admit to that, but God is going to commit today. Why would they be bitter with God? Why? Because things haven't worked out like they're supposed to work out? Because I didn't get the job? Because I'm 35 years old, I'm 40 years old, and look at my life. I'm 40 years old and I'm trying to figure it out like I'm 22. I got nieces and nephews farther along than me. I got little baby cousins got better cars than me. I didn't get none of that stuff. What happened to my life? And you're bitter with God. You would never say it, but it's there. You praying for me, Marvin? I told you, this is it. They won't say amen on it. So the seed is not just a wound that somebody gave you, because that's part of it, but it could be life, circumstance, situation. Can't believe, God, you would allow all this stuff to happen to me. Can't believe you would allow me to get sick like this. And the doctor said ain't nothing to do. Can't believe you would allow me to experience the death of my grandma, my cousin, my best friend, my child. And you become bitter. You think you're mad at the world, but really, you're mad at God. Mm-hmm. That's what it really is, because at the end of the day, the world don't control circumstances, situations in our life. We know that God has all control because they talk when I was little. God had the world in his hands, so if he allowed this to happen, then he's part of the problem in my life. Bitterness. Number one is what? Bitterness is the result of lingering anger, resentment, and unforgiveness. Number two, if you're writing, bitterness can be passed on from generation to generation. I'm giving you some truth about this, and then we're going to pray. And my prayer is that between now and our prayer, that God will convict us, and if we're dealing with bitterness currently, or if we're on the road to becoming bitter, that we'll accept it and come down and let God start the healing process. Now, bitterness can be passed on from generation to generation. Think about it. That's what this is the stem of this whole thing. Haman is fury. He's rage. He's mad and ready to commit genocide for an entire nation. And it all started with what took place generations before he was ever even born. How did that rage get to him? The story was just passed down. This is what happened to my people. That's why we have so much prejudice in the world today. Come on, racism, for a 20-year-old to be racist, he ain't experienced that. A 20-year-old racist has not experienced the hatred that we could justify hating another race for. Where did that come from? From generation before. You don't have your children hating your baby daddy or your baby mama because of your bitterness. I would never talk about, we would say, don't talk about your baby mama and your baby daddy in front of your kids, right? Say, don't do that. And now I think today's everybody pretty good with that. But do you know they look at our actions more than they look at our words?
Right. Amen.
How you treat them when he come around and pick the kid up? Kids, they feel vibes, don't they? That's why you can have a little 4 or 5-year-old playing against mom and daddy, playing each other against mom and daddy, because they feel that vibe. They feel the vibe when it's there and when it's not there. So you could be passing along bitterness to your children, not by what you're saying, but just by what you're doing. When they come around, you shouldn't, When they hear what you're saying about the usher, woo! Why your kids won't respect that usher is because of what you're saying about them in the car. Listen. Bitterness, it can transfer from generation to generation. something. And you know, typically when we preach about Haman, Diana, he's just the enemy, he's dead, kill him, done deal. But you know, Mother, as I was studying, I started to feel kind of sorry for Haman, because this was a seed that somebody else planted on him.
Yeah. Amen.
On the inside. I think sometimes we have to ask God, give me grace to see through the pain of another individual.
Come on. Come on.
Because this really wasn't about Mordecai.
Yeah.
And sometimes the people who treat you with disrespect, it's not really about you.
Right.
You're trying to fight somebody, and the problem they have, it's not really you. You just were the opportunity for the bitterness to present itself. That's all. Mordecai was just the opportunity for the bitterness to come forth. But neither here nor there, guess what? The bitterness was still there. So we got to be careful. Today, it's important that you deal with your unforgiveness. Today, it's going to be important that you deal with the anger and the resentment you have, whether it be for a person who wounded you or whether it be for God because your life hasn't turned out the way that you wanted it to be. You got to deal with it today because you don't know how it may affect your seed.
Amen.
Tomorrow. That's some bitter truth. Number 3, if you're writing, bitterness leads to irrational and destructive behavior. Bitterness leads to irrational and destructive behavior. And some of you may be able to say, hey, I'm not angry, I'm not hurt, this ain't even for me today. You know what? You may be right. This may not be for you, but it's like somebody giving you a gun and going to the woods and say, you may not need it when you first get there, but just hold it.
Right.
You never know. Because there's bears and lions and tigers, oh my, out there. So you may need it because somebody can wound you. Your spouse can wound you tomorrow. The kid can wound you tomorrow. And bitterness can always take root. So bitterness, it leads to irrational and destructive behavior. What was it? He says, I want to kill a whole nation. All because of this bitterness. Haman goes to the king and says, hey, there's this group of people who don't respect your law. They do their own thing. They want to serve some God that they say created heaven and earth. Guess what? I'll pay you if you let me go kill all of them. I'll give you money. This dude has lost his mind. That's what bitterness will do. It'll have you thinking irrationally, making crazy decisions in your life because of the anger, resentment, unforgiveness that's festered, that's grown down through the years. And like that seed, bitterness, it doesn't just pop up overnight. It's over time.
My Lord.
And I said this at the beginning, that I don't believe that Haman knew that he was bitter towards the Jews to that point. Did he hate them? Yes. Did he think they were lower class? Yes. Were he angry with them? Of course. But at no point did he ever try to commit a genocide. It's always when the opportunity presents itself that you find out something comes out that you didn't even know what was on the inside.
Yeah.
That's why you hear about the news about some man going and killing everybody. It probably wasn't even in his plans that day. When he killed his ex-wife and killed everybody in the house and killed the kid, didn't even know the bitterness was there. The woman goes and kills the ex-husband and kills the kid, killed everybody because of what he did 5 years ago. And she didn't really know the bitterness was there. That opportunity presented itself. We can't afford to hang on to our unforgiveness because we don't know what will happen if an opportunity presents itself for bitterness, Brittany. We can't allow anger to live inside of us because we don't know when an opportunity for bitterness may rise up and we don't know how we'll respond to it. What does that mean? We got to get some stuff straight today.
Yes. Amen.
So we're going to pray at the end, and everybody who you feel like, man, I'm in an angry place, but I don't believe that it'll get to that place of bitterness, but I can't take no chances. I got some unforgiveness towards somebody. I'm really mad, and since you really brought it out, Pastor, you know what? I am kind of mad at God. I am kind of upset at God. I'm not cussing God out. I'm not yelling at God. I still pray. I still read my Bible. I still come. But you know what? The way my marriage is going, the way my kids is acting, you know what? I feel like God is abandoning me. I see what he's doing in the lives of all the people around me. I see how other people are being blessed. I see how other people are getting promotions. I see how other people's children are acting. And I just see everybody else around me growing in the Lord, but me, God, why?
Help us.
If that's you, then yeah. I'm kind of blaming God. And you know what? Sometimes I want to tell you, God, I really want to tell you. I really want to tell you how I feel right now. But I'm scared. I don't want you to strike me down. I read some stuff in the Bible about people who yelled and Moses struck rocks and all that stuff, but God, if I could tell you what I really want to say. If I could tell you how I really feel about what you allowed to happen. And God's like, you ain't even got to tell me because I know your depth.
Exactly.
Come on. Amen. Jesus.
Bitterness, it leads to irrational and destructive behavior. Number 4, if you're writing, bitterness robs you of peace and joy. Anybody feel like they want to get out of bitterness? Anybody feel like you don't want to go there? They ain't ready yet. They're not ready yet. Speak to the Lord. Bitterness robs you of peace and joy. When we look at chapter 5, and we look at that verse 9, it says, Haman was what? He went out that day, he was joyful, and he had a glad heart. And then what? He starts talking about what? All the blessings that are going on in his life. What does verse 11 say? Haman, he begins to tell them about all of his rich. He's getting rich. He has a whole lot of sons, which means his seed is going to flourish. His name is going to live on. He's talking about, I got all these promotions. I'm honored by him. I'm advancing above everybody. But then verse 13 says what? Yet all of this is worth nothing to me. As long as Mordecai is still alive. When bitterness takes root, it doesn't even matter what God does in your life. You can't see it. So it's possible that right now, the reason why you don't have joy, the reason why you don't have peace, is not because God is not moving in your life. It's not because but it could be because bitterness is blinding your perspective. Wow. He could write down all the stuff that was going well in his life. I'm getting promoted. The king is loving me. I'm being honored. I got everything that a man would ever want. In that day and time, all a man needed was a whole bunch of sons to carry his name on and a whole bunch of money and respect, and he had it all.
Yeah. Amen.
But he said, you know what? In spite of all of that, because of this bitterness I have for Mordecai and the Jews, Diana, he said, I can't even enjoy it. I can't come to church and worship. I can throw my hands up, but I can't worship. I can sing the song, but I really can't worship. Why? Because of the bitterness that's in my heart. I read my Bible, but I can't really get nothing out of it because of the bitterness that's in my heart. And some of us, we have to be reminded of that bitterness every day we wake up. Because sometimes what caused the bitterness lives in the same house. Sometimes what caused the bitterness, the seed of it, you have to wake them up and dress them every day. Or sometimes what's causing the bitterness is not there. We can't call them, we can't talk to them. So we're reminded every time I want to reach out, every time I want to shoot a text message, every time I scroll down through my phone and I see the name, I'm reminded of the bitterness.
My Lord.
I can't have peace, I can't have joy. But God is saying, if you let me deal with the bitterness, if you let me deal with the anger, if you let me deal with the resentment, if you let me deal with the unforgiveness, he says, I can heal you. He says, I'm able. I'm capable. I have able hands. It's like a cancer. He says, I can heal. There is no incurable diseases when it comes to the spiritual realm, when it comes to God. Amen. Number 4, bitterness robs you of peace and joy. We got 2 more, and then we're going to hit the altar. I hope somebody is feeling like I want to be free today. Number 5, if you're writing, bitterness kills your destiny. Bitterness kills your destiny. The Bible tells us that Haman, at the urging, request, and encouragement of his wife, and the Bible says all of his friends, he created a noose, a gallows, so that he could hang Mordecai. It's funny how bitter people hang around bitter people. Yeah. If today you find out that this is you, and you're in that bitter person, you're in that angry state, the people closest to you probably are in that same place too. Because I'm telling you, people with joy cannot stand to be around people with no joy. People with peace cannot stand. It's like, I just want to kill them. So if you find yourself in a place that I don't have no joy, I don't have no peace, I got bitterness, I'm angry, I'm resentful, and that stuff spews out of you, but you got people around you that don't have a problem listening to it, today needs to be the day. Part of that process is to cut them off. Because they let you spew, and they probably feeding at the same time. Yeah. So he built the gallows based on from the encouragement of his own wife and all of his friends. And then when you get to verse 7, and it all comes out and it all plays out, and the plot to kill Mordecai and all the Jews is presented to the king. The king gets angry and he sentences Haman to death. Guess how he was killed? On the same noose that he created was more for Mordecai. Was the same noose that he was hung on. All because of bitterness. He died. Remember, when we're introduced to him, he's rising and climbing up the ladder. He's doing the doggone thing. He's blessed. Everything is going well in his life. But bitterness caused him to find himself hung. Bitterness will rob and kill you of your purpose. It'll take you out of here early, man. Haman did not have to leave here early. He didn't die of some natural sickness that God allowed to come on him. He was murdered because of his plot. He didn't have to find himself in that position, but bitterness took him out of here early. Don't let bitterness destroy your future. It does not mean you may find yourself in a grave, but guess what? You can't walk in your purpose and your destiny and you holding on to anger and unforgiveness and resentment. Why? Because God said, I can't put you on a platform, because right when you get there, the devil will open up an opportunity for bitterness to release itself. So God says, you know what? You made it this far with your resentment. But God is telling somebody, this is as far as you can go. God says you can't go no further. You can't go no further in me with what you have in your heart until you let me deal with it. God says you can go no higher than where I've allowed you to go today until you deal with the bitterness or that which will lead to the bitterness on today. Number 6, my last one. Bitterness can be cured by Christ. Amen. That's the key to all of this. Somebody says, you know what, I'm bitter. I got some bitterness in me. Or somebody else can say, you know what, I see that I'm on the path. I see that I'm on the path of bitterness because I'm angry with what happened. I'm angry with the person. I'm resentful for the last experience. I'm resentful for that. I have not truly forgiven that person for what they did to me. I'm angry because of the situation that I'm in, and I know God is the only one that controls it. So you know what? I got to be honest with myself. Doggone it, I'm angry with God. But God says, You can be cured by Christ.
Yeah.